Let's explore how we can manage purchasing info records in SAP S4HANA using Fiori. We are here in the Fiori Launchpad. We will click on this icon and we will insert Manage Purchasing Info Records. Click on this one. Here you can see the application to manage purchasing info records. First of all, as always, over here you can search for existing purchasing info records by various criteria. Please be aware that you can always adapt the filters to enhance your search. But for now, we will click here on Create to create a new purchasing info record from scratch. And I will explain you all the fields which are important. So first of all, we have here the header section where we need to choose a purchasing info record category. Here you can see we can choose between consignment, pipeline, standard, or subcontracting. So consignment would mean that we would utilize this purchasing info record only for consignment processes. The same also counts for pipeline and subcontracting. And by the way, for all of those three, I made separate videos. I will link them in the description of this one, so you can check them out afterwards. Or we can select here standard for a standard purchasing info record. We'll do so for now. Next off, we need to insert the purchasing organization for which this purchasing info record should be valid, also the plant and the purchasing group. You can see that we must insert a supplier as well, so that the data will be pulled for this specific supplier we insert over here. We will just take this one for now. Then we need to store a material as well. So once we insert later on the supplier, the purchasing organization, plant, purchasing group and material in our purchase order, the data will be filled automatically with the information for this info record. So all of those entries over here help us or help the system to identify the relevant info record. We just enter a material number over here and also a material group. And that's basically it for the header data. Now let's click on General Information. Over here we can insert and complement some basic data, such as the supplier material number. So meaning that the material might be stored with a different number in our supplier system, and we can insert this number over here so that we can easily reference the number stored in our supplier system for communication purposes, for instance. The same also counts for the supplier material group and also the supplier subrange. Then we have here the sort sequence number. So this is the number by which the material in a supplier subrange would be sorted, but this is only relevant if we would utilize here the supplier subrange. Then we have the manufacturer, who is a business partner. So here we can enter the name of the manufacturer of the material, which could of course deviate from the supplier of the material. And later on, the adopted data would be shown in our purchase order. But please be aware that if the manufacturer name was entered in our material master, this would be preset as well. Then we could insert here the salesperson and also the supplier telephone number for communication. And over here we could insert the prior supplier. So the prior supplier means in this case a vendor who is one step back in the supply chain from the source from which a material is procured. So meaning that, for instance, if we procure material from our supplier, this supplier might have procured the material from another supplier before. And here we could insert this prior supplier. And we could even negotiate the conditions with this prior supplier. So if the price determination process is set up in our customizing for our purchasing, the system will apply these conditions in the purchase order. And if we are creating the info record for a manufacturer part number, then the manufacturer is inserted over here. Then we have the availability from and to. So here we can insert a date range as of which the supplier can supply the material. So in the end, this would delimit the period in which the supplier will supply the materials for us. And the system will check whether the delivery date entered later in our purchasing document falls within this period. If not, we will receive a warning message or even an error message. For now, we leave all of this for free. And then we have here a reminder section. So here we can insert the number of days, which will represent the time interval at which reminders or urging letters or messages are to be issued to the supplier. So for example, in the event of a delay in delivery, we can send messages urging the supplier to deliver the ordered materials a total of 3 times. So we can set a first, second, and third reminder. So for instance, if we set over here 10, this means 10 days after the delivery days, and then 20 days after the delivery date, and 30 days after the expected delivery date. Then we have here the point unit. So those are the number of points awarded by the grantor of conditions for purchases of this material. Let me actually show you the SAP example. Here you can see the example. So if we have a material steel that costs $100 per ton from the supplier ACME and a material steel 2, which costs $5 per ton, then the supplier ACME grants us a rebate of 3% of the total business volume at the end of the year if the materials worth at least 100,000 points were ordered from him during the course of the year. So in the case of material steel 1, we are awarded 10 points for every ton ordered, whereas we get 20 points for each ton of steel 2 ordered. And when later issuing our purchase order, we can take into account how many tons of steel 1 or steel 2 we need to order to reach a total of 100,000 points. And then qualify for a retrospect volume rebate. So those are qualification points in the end. Then let's go to the purchasing data. Over here we can supply our Incoterms. And as you might know, those Incoterms are commonly used trading terms that comply with the standard established by the International Chamber of Commerce, also called ICC. So for instance, if goods are shipped through a port or departure, the appropriate Incoterm might be free on board, for instance. So this is some legal aspect in the end. Then we have here the Incoterm version and also location details. Furthermore, here on the right hand side, we can provide a condition group. So using the condition group, we can create conditions relating to a certain material and a certain supplier. And those conditions defined for a condition group are taken into account in computing the so-called effective price of the purchase order item. So the price calculated taking all pricing conditions into account, including our taxes, our delivery costs, discounts, and so on and so forth. Then we have here the pricing date control. So with this, we can determine which date is to be used for the pricing determination. So for instance, the current date should be used, meaning that the price determination date would be the date of the entry, in the system. We have the delivery date, where the price determination date would be the delivery date, and so on and so forth. Then we have here a checkmark called no cash discount. If we hit this one, then this would indicate that no cash discount would be granted with regard to this specific material. So in the end, of course, our supplier will tell us whether a cash discount would be applicable or not. Then let's go to the delivery and quantity section. Here we have some mandatory fields. So first of all, the delivery time in days. So those are the number of calendar days needed to obtain a material or service if it's procured externally. So meaning that procured by a supplier and not created in-house. Let's say 5. We have here the under delivery tolerance and the over delivery tolerance. So this is the tolerance we would accept as an under delivery in percent or as an over delivery in percent. So for instance, if we say here 10% and we order 10 units but only 9 are delivered, this is fine. However, if 8 would be delivered, this would not be fine. The same also counts in the other direction. Then we have here the shipping instruction. So here we can specify the packaging and shipping instructions issued to the supplier. We could insert a tax code when this material is tax relevant. Then further down we have here the purchasing control. So we can set over here the goods received based invoice verification, meaning that we want the invoice to be verified against the goods receipts. Then we have here one other checkmark called no evaluated receipt settlement, specifying that the so-called evaluated receipt settlement is not possible for deliveries of this material. And by the way, if you want to find out everything about the evaluated receipt settlement, I will leave you the videos that I made in past in the description of this one. So make sure to check out the links afterwards. Then we have here a checkmark called order acknowledgement requirement, and this determines whether the purchasing document, so either purchase order, outline purchase agreement, and so on, is to be acknowledged by the supplier. So to ensure that our purchasing order or our scheduling agreement, delivery schedule has been received by the supplier, we can arrange for the latter to send an acknowledgement. Next off, we have here the confirmation control. So this determines which confirmation categories are expected for purchase order item. So for instance, we want a confirmation at inbound delivery, at rough goods receipt, and so on. Let's scroll up again. Here in the second column, we have the order unit. So in this case, pieces. Then we have the minimum remaining shelf life. So this is the minimum amount of time for which the material must keep upon goods receipt for the goods received to be accepted by the system. Then we have here the period indicator for expiration date. So this is nothing else than the unit of measure we can use for the total shelf life and the minimum remaining shelf life. In this case, we can choose between day, month, week, or year. Then we have an indicator called automatic sourcing. So if we select this checkbox, then the system takes this info record into consideration when creating purchase requisitions during the planning run. So during our MRP run. Let's scroll up again. Here we have the third column with the quantity. So here we insert the standard order quantity. Let's say that we normally order 10 pieces and the minimum order quantity would be 5 and the maximum would be 20. We could also mark here unlimited delivery. So this would indicate that unlimited over delivery would be accepted for this specific item. Next off, we have here our rounding profile. So this is actually used to adjust the order proposal quantity to deliverable units. So meaning that, for instance, if a material base unit of measure is, let's say, 1 unit, the purchase order is to be delivered in layers, where 1 layer corresponds to 5 units, or in pallets, where 1 pallet corresponds to 8 layers, which contained 40 units. In this case, we can use the so-called rounding profile to account for this lot size. And over here, we have the supplier RMA number required. So meaning that either we can say that there is no RMA number required, or it could be required and supplied by the supplier master, by message exchange, or it could be required in general. But this is a rather special topic, just for certain countries. Let's go to the conditions tab. Over here, we can now click on create to insert a condition, where we have a validity, and then we can insert here an amount, let's say €100 per unit, so that this is then taken over in our purchase order later on. Okay, last but not least, we can insert here reference data. So we could insert here a quotation number with the validity date of the quotation. Yeah, and that's basically it. Then we click on create to create the purchasing info record, and afterwards we can use it in our purchase order. This marks the end of the video. I hope you liked it. If so, then please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Also make sure to subscribe to my Patreon, where we have a community chat and where I post lots of informative documents about SAP. The link is in the bio of the channel. Thanks a lot and see you next time.